little loud.
Just a tad bit.
Gotta wake you up.
Yeah. It's Wednesday morning, or at least it will be when people are listening to this.
Right.
Coming to you from the Hideout and the JD Bar and Grill mobile studio.
That's right.
That's right.
This is the Gunslingers Podcast.
It is.
The podcast about the gunslinger. We're not the Gunslinger Podcast. That would be a weird name.
No.
It would have been normal if we'd have called it that from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's the Smokin Gunz Podcast. I am Philip Higginbotham. I am joined as always by Leo Yamas.
Hey, Gunslinger fans.
And RC Woods.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we're coming to you from the Hideout. We are hanging out once again in the home offices of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
Yep.
As we gather together to talk about football in and around San Antonio, specifically football around the San Antonio Gunslingers of the American Arena League.
Come on now, we're enough into this thing where that shouldn't happen anymore.
You know what got me
The cold weather?
driving down the road today to get here? I'm on 410 right about Walsham area, and I get passed by it was a green RAV4, so hopefully this person listens and is a Gunslinger fan too. Commander sticker on the back of the car.
And there's been a lot of posts on social media lately because it's
the memories.
Yeah, it's 2 years
It's
to the
right
day,
at 2 years,
right when
yeah.
it started. Yeah, it's fun and it's sad at the same time to see those posts and pictures and memories.
A couple of Mondays ago was actually the 2-year anniversary of that first game against the San Diego Fleet.
Right.
And I wore my Commander's jersey to commemorate the day.
Yeah, Dolores
that's nice.
wore hers too.
And I'm standing in Whataburger in Lavernia, and the Centos guy who had stopped to get his lunch too comes up and goes, "Man, I'm so bummed that didn't work out." And I got a chance to talk to him a little bit about Commander stuff. And I got a chance to say, hey, there's a new thing coming, and talk to him a little bit about Gunslingers football. So
Very cool.
yeah, I mean, it's still in and around our community. Football, the love for football was here then. It's here now. And we're going to talk about it for the next hour and a half or so.
Something like that, yeah. We got a lot to talk about because we're back, but we're also late.
We're late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're like a whole week late.
Yeah, and we're light because we made some promises.
We did. So if you pay really close attention to your calendar, you'll notice that it's been 3 weeks since we've put out an episode, not the 2 weeks that we like to.
I know.
We meant to record last Monday, have it out last Wednesday, and then this thing happened. I don't know if everybody was aware, but there was a little bit of weather issues last week.
Snowmageddon.
Man.
It's crazy.
Did y'all make it through it okay? Like, I know the answer to this because we actually talked all week long and chatted back and forth. But what a weird week.
Very weird.
Totally crazy. Like that's why we live down here in the South.
I've lived in Texas all my life. Of course, I grew up in North Texas for the first 30 years or so of my life, where you do get snow about once a year in North Texas in the Dallas area, but it's one day and it's gone. So just like the ones down here that are just one day, you get a snow day and then it's gone.
Yeah.
We get those up in Dallas too. We get them about once a year. Down here, we get them every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
We get a good one here. This was unlike anything I've ever been through in my life, growing up in Texas. And I realize there are people listening to this from the north. Jason Torres, who's from New York, is listening to this and like, snow is snow. You get used to it. But this area is just not built. This community, this area is not.
Yeah, our infrastructure,
that's not what we do.
power-wise, the city-wise, we're definitely not built for that. And I think we proved that very sadly.
Well, it wasn't just the snow. It was the weather. It was the
ice,
cold, the ice, the rain.
conditions.
It was a whole bunch of things that added up.
Well, and we weren't the only part of Texas that was suffering.
Right.
My family is up in the Metroplex still, and Mom and Dad went without power for 3 days.
Wow.
Went without water for 2 days up in that area, and pulled the mattress and box springs into the living room next to the fireplace so that they could sleep there and rest there and still be warm because the rest of the house was freezing. So
yeah, there's still people without water that I know of today that they're still without water. As far as I know, everybody's got power restored. But yeah, to put this last week or so lightly, it sucked.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. Not anything anybody was prepared for. It's funny because growing up in Texas all my life and being here in San Antonio for the last 10 or 15 years, I think it's been 13, so right in between 10 and 15 years. I always kind of shrug at the forecast when it's 10 days out and they're like, oh, it's going to snow next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure
Everybody did. Everybody
Sure
did.
it is. And then they were talking about it's going to get down to 7 degrees. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then sure enough, it did.
then you're like,
so this episode was supposed to happen last week.
The 15th.
On Monday when it
was
started.
the day after Valentine's Day.
The day after Valentine's Day, the day it all started. In fact, I woke up that morning to 2 inches of snow in my front yard. That was Monday morning. And also no hot water because my hot water heater had frozen over, which was an easy fix. But we decided it would not be safe
True.
to gather together and record our show. Plus, we don't know that we could have recorded it because
Probably
we
not.
require power to make this thing go. And the power was all kinds of wonky from Monday all the way to Thursday, really.
The rolling blackouts. I had power for like 10 minutes and then it'd go off.
Oh, some people I heard had power for like 2.5 minutes and it'd be off for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that was us. Yeah, and then that show, that's when we had scheduled, and these guys had set their schedules aside. They had planned for it, and we're going to have the QB room here, both quarterbacks.
Yeah, Nate Mace and David Oliveira.
Yep.
We're going to come in and talk about Gunslingers football and being quarterbacks for your San Antonio Gunslingers. And, of course, that got pushed off. And then when we moved it to this week, they're not available.
Right.
Because schedules are what they are.
Right.
So we're going to have them. We're going to get them on soon. We just don't have them on today. You're stuck with us.
Bummer.
Oh, come on. And we were going to do a trivia game. I was excited about that too.
You kept talking about this, but we never got like an insight to what were you doing?
What sort of trivia?
Like different, for example, I had a question about what was the name of the mascot for the Miami Dolphins? Booyah.
You just said it.
Did you just?
What is the name?
Is it Booyah?
No.
Oh, of the mascot. Okay,
Yeah, what
okay.
is the name of the mascot for the Miami Dolphins? He has a certain name.
Oh, I don't know.
It's TD.
TD.
TD the Dolphin. Okay.
Hey,
Interesting.
I didn't name him, but just kind of quirky questions like that about football.
Gotcha. There was a previous iteration of the Miami Dolphin that got kidnapped and was rescued by Dan Marino and Ace Ventura. I don't know if you
Yes.
knew that or not.
No, I didn't know that.
There's a documentary film out about
Really?
it that's really incredible.
A full-length documentary. Yes.
It's really, really incredible.
I'll have to look it up.
Finkel is Einhorn. So we will have them. We will have them with us here in the near future. We're going to reschedule and make all of that work. But in the meantime, we've got lots of news. There's lots of things going on around Gunslinger World, and there should be, because 17.
Is that the lucky number?
That's the number.
That's
as it
the
stands.
number on Wednesday when this
Wednesday.
comes
That
out.
gets
It's
a
17.
tambourine.
Oh, she got the tambourine.
She brought the
I did.
noisemakers.
Woo!
Sorry,
I thought
guys.
I told you to hide that.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
I didn't
found
hide
him.
it well enough.
Apparently not.
Apparently.
Yeah, so 17 days away when you're hearing this, 19 when we're recording it. It's here.
It's around the corner.
It is. And Leo and I and Jonas Clark are putting together the live broadcast, the live streaming, and how that's going to look. And so we're a little nervous because we've never done this before.
You guys are going to do great.
We've done some things like this before. Jonas is a master at this kind of stuff. But
We're gonna lean on him.
yeah, he's going to do the work.
Lean on
We're gonna sit up and talk football like we do for an hour and a half during our show. We're just gonna do it all the way through the game. That's easy. That's the easy part. Jonas has got all the hard work.
Yeah.
But we're working on putting all of that together so that you can enjoy San Antonio Gunslingers football away from the Rose Palace. But you're not going to want to do that unless we're on the road.
Right. You want to be there at the game. Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everybody's got their tickets by now. They did another flash sale.
Another one.
That's right.
Surprisingly, and that's done. Like, you're not going to get another opportunity to do that.
Yeah, if you're just hearing about it now, sorry you missed it.
Sorry you missed it. It was a good deal, but it's gone at this point. So you got an opportunity, Leo, to go 2 weeks ago, not the ice week, but the week before the ice week.
Right.
You got to go out to the Rose Palace and take a look around. And what did you think? Like, it's perfect place to play football, right? It's set up perfectly for football. Yeah.
No.
No.
Is it the perfect place to play football? No. Is it pretty close to being perfect for the San Antonio Gunslingers to play football? It's there. There's a little work to be done, but they're doing it, and it's kind of a cool. I mean, we've talked about having names for it. We talked about like the saloon or the corral. Something like that is going to work perfectly for it.
Yeah, it's got the Western motif because it is literally a rodeo arena, which is fun. There's something that's fun about that.
Yeah, so like when we went, the ownership was there. Mm-hmm. Actually, we had no idea. We were going to do kind of like a test run of for camera angles and stuff like that for the broadcast. And on the sound system, so we had the PA announcer there and everything doing his tests. But what I didn't know was the entire team was going to be there. So Coach Hernandez showed up.
I saw those pictures.
And the guys were all there, and they were kind of getting familiarized with what's going to be their home, and they were pretty excited about that. But there were some kids there. There was family there as well. And what I heard was one of the kids, one of the girls, she's like, there's horses here? Really? And so one of the people that was there just went out and brought a couple horses out so she could see the horses
very cool.
there. Yeah, it was very, very nice.
Did you see any famous singers?
I saw his name plastered at a couple places.
Oh, okay.
Of course, you're talking about George Strait.
I am talking about George Strait.
As far as we know, is the owner of the venue, or at least
is
at one
or
point
was
did.
At one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, it's kind of a very westerny, I don't want to say rough, but it fits the motif. You arrive to the parking lot. It's very spacious. You can see all the areas where you'd have like the horses, where they keep the horses, the stables and everything like that. You go up some stairs and you come into this venue, and you kind of go through the main entryway, and it opens up, and I mean it's a rodeo stadium. It opens up, and the turf isn't laid down yet, so they still had your particular, I don't know what you call it, that they put under the dirt.
Yeah,
the horses run through.
I always call it dirt.
It's just called dirt.
I like dirt.
Call it dirt.
Let's go with dirt.
Yeah. So I'll play in the dirt would be kind of cool, but yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, they're going to roll out some turf. They're gonna have the dasher boards out. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have everybody around it. And what I love about this particular venue, so we talked about some of the other venues that didn't work out, and this is going to be an intimate kind of feel.
Very intimate.
At no point, based on the pictures you showed me, I haven't been there, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. It looks like to me that at no point will even the people that are furthest away from it be more than about 25 or 30 yards away from the field.
Oh, less than that. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to, even if you have the seats in the back, you're still really close to the action and really close to the things that are going on. And it'll be an intimate feel. We'll all be in this thing together. Well, I mean, you and I won't, because we'll be stuck up in a booth.
We'll be in a booth, yeah.
So not a bad seat in the house.
No, not at all. Our RC will be right in the thick of it. So there's kind of a little something for everybody there, depending on what you go to a sporting event for. So there's going to be seats, right? The dasher board seats, which are going to be right down on the dirt level, where the dirt would normally be if it's a rodeo event,
right?
Surrounding the field, inside of the typical, steel rails that they have going around.
Right.
So you'll actually be on the other side of that fence area,
separated from the masses, from the unwashed masses.
Exactly.
That don't have dasher board seats.
Right. With the general admission, which is the bleacher riser seats that they have on each side of the field. So if you want to be right on the action, you have the dasherboard seats. If you want to be not so close to where, guys are running into walls and making you spill your beer everywhere trying to get out of the way. I mean, you might like that. You might not.
You might.
Right.
You want to be in the general admission bleacher seats where you're on top of the action, but not next to it. And then also near where the DJ is, who's going to be really rocking that place because it's going to lend itself to the acoustics of the music that the DJ is going to be playing. So it's definitely going to be rowdy even in the bleachers. But if you're more into I just want to kind of hang out, watch some football,
chill,
and drink my beer and chill, there's this standing room balcony area.
Oh, interesting.
Which, if I recall, I think those are $5.
I don't remember.
I want to say they're $5.
Standing room only.
Yeah, and it's like a deck, and it's right next to where the bar is, or
That's
the bar
cool.
service. There are going to be, concession stands and everything like that. There's going to be stands for gear to buy your gear at the
They're
games.
going to sell the Gunslinger beer there, right?
Yes.
Okay,
that's
awesome.
right. And then, of course, if you want to be kind of I like a little bit of the luxury, and I like to be away from where it's all the loud activity is, and have, I don't want to eat a hot dog. I want to eat, I don't know,
Maybe
filet
upscale,
mignon, whatever, upscale food, and be more catered to.
I don't know anybody that
box.
I don't know anybody that goes to a football game is like, I'm going for the filet mignon.
No,
If
I don't know if there'll be
I
filet
mean-
mignon there. It was just
but I could like that atmosphere.
Yeah, well, but
Catered
mini
to-
corn dogs. Isn't that what we said?
there you go. Mini corn dogs,
Yeah, there you go.
Totino's pizza rolls,
There you go.
There you go.
those kind of things.
Yeah, so you have the owner's box for that. So there's different pricing for the seats. We went over that in the last show, but it's also pretty apparent at the venue, like there's those sections that you can choose from and just kind of find the one that suits you the best.
All right.
But there isn't a bad view from anywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect. I mean, based on the way it looks like it's set up, you're really never going to be very far away from the action.
No. It's going to be loud too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you get, it is a cozy venue. Is that a good way to say that?
Cozy, yeah.
And I think it's gonna, it's a metal roof. It's gonna echo well if we want to
Get
cause a
rowdy.
problem for opposing offenses as they attempt to take on Cody and Pierre and those guys. I think we can, as fans, affect the game on some level.
I honestly think the opposing teams are going to be intimidated when they come into this place. They're going to be like, what the heck is going on here? Like everybody's going to be right on them, right on top of them. It's going to be loud, very enclosed. There were some questions about the roof and the height, worried about
kicking
and long
passes for that matter.
Yeah. I can say after being there, and you can probably see from the pictures that were posted by some of the players that were there, I don't think it's a concern at all. It's kind of optically, when you first see it, you're like, especially because it peaks in the middle and then comes down the roof line. You're worried about on the sidelines, if it's going to be, obstructive to play, but it's really not. When the guys got out on the field and they were kind of messing around and playing around out there, visualizing what opening day was going to be like, you could see the space above their heads. And, you're not throwing 80-yard bombs. I mean, the field's
only 50 yards.
Kicks are not going to be a problem because it is elevated in the middle and the goal posts are not as wide.
Right.
They're not standard width goalposts in arena football. So he's got to kick it right down the middle anyways, and not too long.
On a couple of things that are going to aid that, there is no punting. So you're not punting for hang time. You're not trying to get it way up in the air. I know when Jerry World opened, when AT&T Stadium opened, there was a lot of talk about punters hitting the scoreboard, the gigantic screen that they have there at Jerry World. And it's possible, but it's not in your best interest to be able to do that. You don't want a kick to do that. But we're not punting here. And kickoffs, which is the only kicks that really happen, or field goals, you're trying to kick right down the center.
Right in the middle. Mm-hmm.
On a kickoff, if you get it in between the goalposts, you get a point. So you can actually score an extra point on your kickoff.
Wow.
in arena football.
I could see Manny doing that.
So he's aiming for that. He's not trying to kick off to the sides. You're not trying to do any of that. You're trying to get it right down the middle and get that extra point for your team.
Yeah, and I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about with our kicker as far as kick power or kick accuracy. I've been seeing in practice, and I think we're good, guys.
I think we're good.
So yeah, we're not going to have. Maybe some of the visiting teams might have something to worry about.
They might have some issues.
Yeah, and then the additional incentive for them to kick down the middle and not towards the side is if a ball happens to go out of bounds of play, then if someone gets that ball, from what I understand, that you get to keep the ball.
Right.
And those balls are pricey, so ownership is not wanting for that to happen very often. So
now you mentioned the parking lot. Do you know if how much they're going to be charging for parking, or how big was it, or?
We had some discussions where he kind of hinted. In our last show with Jason, do you remember?
I'm guessing it's going to be $10.
$10, yeah. That's what it sounded like.
That's reasonable.
There's plenty of parking. It's a very large parking space.
Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you, at either of the other two venues we were talking about, it would have been doubled.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Parking would have been double that.
Yeah.
So again, it'll take some getting used to. It's not really what we were thinking when we started all this off. I know that it causes some issues for some fans. I know our buddy and our listener, Bill Ingram.
Yes, I was going to bring him
reached out to everybody today and said he would be watching, but he would not be there because the bus doesn't get up. Via doesn't take him up there.
That's right. And I said, don't worry about it. You get your ticket, and I'll figure out how to get there.
Yeah, so we're going to, RC, when I say I'm going to take credit for your willingness. But no, you're going to try to get Bill up there.
Oh, for sure. One way or another.
And so he can enjoy it. So, yeah, I mean, there are things that you have to be concerned about. You have to be mindful of. It's in a different spot than you would expect. But that's going to be a good thing.
I don't want it to deter anybody from saying, oh, I don't have a ride. You know, we're as a family here, you know, we'll help you out.
Yeah.
That's what we do in Texas.
If we can.
If we can. We'll do what we can.
No promises or anything. We're not going to run a shuttle service.
I'll promise Bill that
There's
I will get a
Uber.
ride. There's Uber. There's a lot of different ways, but
There's
for
Lyft.
sure, Bill.
So yeah, the venue is good to go. I mean, they're all set with putting down the field. All of that happens the night before. Is that what you understand?
Yeah, that's from what I understood in conversation. The field gets put up or put down and everything set up the day before the actual game.
Very cool.
Cool.
Did you get a chance to go to the locker rooms at all?
Are there locker rooms?
Being that this is a rodeo venue, there aren't
rodeo
traditional locker rooms
okay.
per se. They're more rooms. They're rooms, separate rooms. One for home and one for visitor. I think they actually do have windows, so they're going to have to block those off in order for the players to be able to change inside those rooms and come out, from what I understand. So.
What was that?
Or you can have the peep show.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You charge extra for that. That's
right.
As a premium.
That's right, $10.
Wow. We've gone off the rails now.
Speaking of the bus, I hadn't thought about that, but maybe ownership can work on some sort of like a park and ride.
Something to think about, something to look into, especially if there's a lot of folks that are looking, to come to the games that aren't available. Might be something they want to
consider. We'll talk to them about it. You never know.
You never know.
That's a cool noise.
Generator?
Yeah.
Somebody's running their generator. It's that time. Well, good. Sounds good. I wish I could have been out there with you guys. I was busy that night, but I loved getting the pictures back. The horses running around the same spots we're going to see.
I can't wait.
Pierre Thomas and did I say that right?
Pierre Turner.
Pierre Turner.
Not Pierre Thomas.
Who's
he
that?
used to play for the Saints, didn't he?
Yes.
Pierre Turner and Cody Brooks and David Oliveira and Nate Mace, all of those guys are going to be running around out there instead of those horses here in just about 17 days. So that's going to be exciting.
Very exciting.
Guess what? We're going to take a break right here. We'll come back and we'll talk some more about Gunslingers football.
Okay.
And we'll get you all caught up on the other things that have happened since the last time we recorded. We are excited to announce, and we've already said something about them, and we'll be talking about them a lot through the season. JD's Bar and Grill is now the studio sponsor for the Smokin Gunz Podcast.
That's awesome.
I knew that was coming. 2000 Southeast Loop 410 Suite 101. They are right there at the Rigsby exit at 410 or 87 if you prefer the numbered highway version of San Antonio. They have live music on the weekends. They have pool tables.
Darts.
Darts at a bar? No.
Yes, of course.
No way.
And drinks.
They do. They have drinks. They have food. They have live music. They've got sports on TV. It's JD's Sports Bar. I drove by it today. I saw it today as I was driving into the studio.
It's a pretty big place, right?
It's big.
Good parking.
It's right there on the end of the
Access road?
Well,
shopping
it's
center.
right up against the access road. It's on the end of the access, the shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it right from the road. Nice big place.
Mm-hmm.
And they are our title sponsor. Our studio sponsor.
Yes,
And so we will be headed out there at some point
for sure.
to do some shows from out there, inviting everyone out to join us for some drinks. Both
Socializing.
Yeah, socializing. Social distance socializing, because that's a thing now.
Yeah.
And food, but you don't have to wait for us to go out and visit JD's Bar and Grill. Go out there. Once again, it's 2000 Southeast Loop 410 Suite 101 JD's Bar and Grill. And we're excited to be partnering with them as we move into the Gunslinger season. Every time we're anywhere.
That's right.
It doesn't matter where we are.
Nope.
JD's Bar and Grill is bringing you the mobile studio and the Gunslingers podcast. So
and we're so thankful for them.
If we're out at Smokin Gunz Podcast.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said the Gunslingers
I did
Podcast.
it again.
Well, we are the Gunslingers.
We are.
We are, but
yeah. So no matter where we are, if we're at Alamo Brewery, it's we are still the JD Bar and Grill mobile studios.
That's right.
No matter where we are. Today we're in Hideout. If we're ever in the wild, wild west of San Antonio again, which we often broadcast from, when we start broadcasting from the Rose Palace, which
That's
I'm telling
right.
you is coming, JD's Bar and Grill will be a part of that too. They are our newest sponsor on the show, and we're excited to have them. Speaking of sponsors of the show, we have a sponsor that we've had since the very beginning, and we're super excited about. That's Teardrop Pepper Company.
That's right.
Chris over at Teardrop Pepper Company is not only a sponsor of the Smokin Gunz Podcast, now he's a sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers. You're going to see them on the wall, and we'll talk more about that when we get back here into the show in a second. But if you haven't tried the Golden Habanero or Supreme Serrano,
get with it, guys. Come on.
Right. Come on,
you're missing,
try it.
You've got to order now. We've got 17 days until we're tailgating, and you're going to want to use this on your chicken, on your steak, on your pizza, on whatever you're eating out at the tailgate.
Burgers.
You're going to want to use this stuff.
And I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor. It's good.
It's good.
Delicious.
So go online now. You're not going to find it at HEB. You're not going to find anything at HEB right now. But you're not going to find Teardrop Pepper Company sauces at HEB. They're just not there yet. You're going to have to go online to teardroppepperco.com. Use the offer code ARENA, save 10% on your order. Order enough to get you through the season, or at least a couple of games, and that's a few bottles. That's not one.
Save on
That's
shipping.
right. You got 17 days for the first game, so get it before then.
Get it now. If you order now, they should get it to you in time for that first game.
For sure.
In time for that first tailgate opportunity, and you can use it on all your stuff and just blow everybody away. All those people that are walking around the parking lot, and you're like, hey, come try this. They're going to go, what did you put on this? And then you're going to be telling them about Teardrop Pepper Co. And then you can point to their banner on the field, the dashboard, and say, that's the place right there, teardroppepperco.com.
Not to add any pressure, but maybe Chris wants to come down for opening day.
Well, now that they are sponsors of the team, they have tickets.
That's right.
And
they
they can bring some product with them.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And so Teardrop Pepper Co., not only a sponsor of the Smokin Gunz Podcast, now they're a sponsor of your San Antonio Gunslingers. Go check them out online, teardroppepperco.com. They got T-shirts.
Yes, they do.
You can be wearing your Teardrop Pepper Co. T-shirt and your San Antonio Gunslinger hat. They both dropped like the same day. And you can go get all decked out for the game and get ready to go.
And they got the 2 flavors now.
Mm-hmm. Supreme Serrano and the Golden Habanero. Mm-hmm. I love that Golden Habanero.
I do too.
That's good. Go check them out, teardroppepperco.com, and follow them on all the social media outlets at teardroppepperco. Smokin Gunz Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, Leo Yamas, R.C. Wood, sitting around the table talking about the Gunslingers and football in general. And we talked about ice and snow a little bit because that's on everybody's mind right now.
True.
In the first segment.
Guess that's why I'm mad. I'm kicking stuff here.
Yeah, so they didn't hear that.
Be mad.
What?
They didn't hear that. I recorded after that, but now you've told everybody you were kicking the table before we got
table.
back. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, Hector. Leo's in here messing up your furniture.
Yeah.
So we're at the Gunslingers office. We're at the Hideout in or with the JD Bar and Grill mobile studios. We have a sponsor for the studio now, JB's Bar and Grill. You just heard us talk about them a little bit.
That's a little quieter, right? Is that better? Oh, come on.
That deserved a cheer. No,
That did deserve
It does.
a cheer.
No, we're super excited about
button?
working in
Do you have
that.
the
button? Oh, yeah, where's the
I do.
button?
Which is this one? Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I like that.
So, we have a game coming up in no time, in 17 days, in a little over 2 weeks. The San Antonio Gunslingers will take the field there at the Rose Palace. We just talked a little bit about the venue and what all of that looks like.
It's going to be cool.
And they will be taking on the new and improved enemy.
The enemy.
Way back in the day, we talked to Tyrone Washington.
Yep.
He was at the time putting together the North Texas Falcons. They were going to play in the Garland area. All of that kind of.
Remember we made that noise?
Oh, yeah. No, I remember
Caw-caw.
that didn't work out. That kind of morphed into something new.
Right.
And he joined with the brother of Hector Garcia, our owner.
Can you imagine that?
Sibling rivalry.
And they put together a team, the North Texas Bulls, and that's who's coming in on the 13th. On Saturday the 13th in the Rose Palace, the North Texas Bulls will come down, and we will see the first of 3 games this season, and the first of what I think is going to end up being a rivalry between these two teams. And it reminds me of our previous time together and how the rivals were the first game we played at home.
True.
Like the Commanders played the Fleet
I remember that.
at home in the Alamo Dome, and we had a great time.
We sure did.
Well, it looks like we're doing it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's at home. It's it's a Saturday game, so it'll be right in the midst of everybody's availability to come out,
No
cheer on the
excuses.
Gunslingers. And we got brother versus brother. We got North Texas Bulls versus the South Texas San Antonio Gunslingers. It's a civil war in a way. I'm running with
like
that.
that,
We're calling it that.
That's the game title.
I was thinking of
Civil
something.
War.
I was thinking
Until somebody comes along and tells me that that's no longer politically correct and we have to change it. But
Oh, someone's gonna say something. But
Wah,
some,
wah.
I know. Could we call it the BS, the bull slaughter? No, or that pushing the boundaries?
There could be some other connotations for that
Yeah,
that
it
also
could.
involves bulls. So I don't know.
so when we talked about this game a little bit earlier, Leo, you seem to think that the Gunslingers have the edge.
Of course,
They've
we
got
do.
an edge,
Why?
which also means that the pressure's on them.
Right. Which is the deal. If you have the edge, and we're going to go through why we think that's the case, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't make the game any easier. When you have the edge, it can almost make it harder because you walk away from this one with a loss, and all of a sudden, what does that say?
That's going to be tough to swallow.
But we seem to think the Gunslingers have the edge for a few reasons. What are some of those reasons, Leo?
Well, the Gunslingers have been in training camp for how long now?
Since October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
How long
are
has the North
Plus
Texas
check.
Bulls been in training camp?
0 days.
There you go.
Oh, really?
They're still trying out.
They are still conducting tryouts. So they have a team assembled, but they're still working on their roster, trying out people and having open tryouts. So
Sure.
when you're doing that kind of stuff, You're obviously you don't have your full team out there practicing and putting things together and game plans and stuff like that. Where the Gunslingers are already well on their way with that. We're still not all the way down on cut downs, but they've got a pretty good idea of which way they're going. There's some guys that are on the bubble and fighting to stick. But you know, they've got things pretty well put together because they've been doing it for a while now.
Right. Not to mention it is a home game for the Gunslingers.
Home game.
Love the home
and while
field advantage.
I don't know, and this is a whole conversation we could actually have, I don't know if home field advantage means a lot in the first half of the NFL season or even college football anymore. I'm not sure home field advantage is a big deal. We are not talking about football on either of those levels. This is a brand new thing for everybody that steps on the field on that Saturday. I was going to say night, but I think it's an afternoon game. But on that Saturday, this is entirely new for everybody. Both coaches, all the teams, the broadcast booth. Yeah. I mean, everybody is new. That is only going to exasperate to me the home field advantage side of this.
Website says 7:30 on Saturday.
Okay, well, that's even better.
Yeah.
Saturday night. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with that particular idea? You think that magnifies the home field advantage a little bit? Everybody's new.
Yeah, I think so. I would have to agree with you. We'll see how. I mean, I think the place is going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. We've already talked about that.
Sure.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud when the other team has the ball and on offense. It's not going to be loud when our team has the ball on offense. Yes. Right, San Antonio? Right?
No
San
way.
Antonio?
No way.
We're not doing the way.
So and that's going to be disruptive to their offense. Mm-hmm. That's on top of what we've already seen from our defense as far as disruption. And I am very impressed with what we've seen from our defense. I don't think there's anybody sitting at this table that isn't. So I definitely think it's gonna be a big advantage for them.
Well, I still think it's an advantage because the people they're coming off from North Texas, right? They still have to drive here.
Yeah, they got to drive here.
Our people here are already here. We already, sleeping in their own beds, have that comfort. They've already been out to the field before, to the rodeo field, I guess. Is that what we're calling it? So I think there's definitely advantages to having the home, being the first game here at home.
I don't know how many people are going to make a road trip for the first game of the season if you're talking about North Texas people.
Yeah, I mean, I fully don't expect. A week later, we go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I do not expect a whole lot of Gunslingers fans.
Although it'd be cool if some of you make that trip
with us. It'd be great if you would.
How far is Mississippi?
It is a 9-hour drive.
So it's just like El Paso.
Just like El Paso.
Yeah.
Opposite direction.
It is. Yeah. It's the opposite direction. It is El Paso.
Okay.
It is almost exactly.
That's a great way to say it, because I bet you saying, oh, we're going to El Paso, some people were going, I might make a trip to El Paso for a game. And then you say Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to that.
It's the
Little
same
do they
distance.
realize it's the same distance.
Yeah, it's about the same. I think Hattiesburg, I looked this up. I think it's about an hour difference. Hattiesburg is about an hour further, but
it's just a road trip.
There's still stuff between here and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I don't know if you've ever been out to El Paso before, but there's nothing
that is true
on that drive.
Tumbleweeds.
There's got to be a casino.
Are there tumbleweeds now? Has somebody brought in some tumbleweeds? Because the last time I went through there weren't even tumbleweeds. It's just sand, and not even like pretty sand. It's just gray sand, just grossness.
Oh my gosh.
It's really, really depressing.
I'm actually going to be driving there for spring break, going out to see my daughter.
Okay.
So I'll let you know what I see.
I can let you know right now what you close your eyes.
Okay.
What you're looking at now is better than what you're going to see on your drive.
Oh my gosh.
It's not a great drive.
Okay.
I've been out there a couple of times in my life, and I've never been impressed by anything I've seen on that drive, period. At least between here and Hattiesburg, you get to go through Louisiana.
That's always fun.
You do get to see Mississippi.
There you go.
There's stuff.
There's stuff. There's something. There are trees and grass, things.
Casinos.
If you're going through Louisiana. I'm sure you're going to run across this casino or two. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to make the 6-hour drive down from North Texas to the Alamo City to watch their North Texas Bulls get beat. Like, I don't know how many there's going to be. Yeah. So the fan side of the home field advantage is certain, but I think there's a lot more to it this time. And I think it'll go away as we move through the season.
Yeah, they'll catch up. I mean,
but it's everybody's
get it together
first time. I expect, I don't want to run anybody off or make any, I don't expect the highest scoring game we'll see of the season from either team.
Probably not, no.
Because everybody's learning how all of this works, and you're getting called for penalties for the first time. You know, we've been out to practice and we've seen Coach Tony call them for penalties when they jump. The one thing he hates, and man, I love it. I love to hear him get all over them, is false starts.
Yeah.
He jumps all over the offense anytime there's anything resembling a false start.
Yeah, he does.
He does not like that, and I am a big fan of that kind of thought. But you'll be getting called for penalties for the first time.
I think the only thing he hates worse than false starts is drop passes.
Mm.
Well, yeah, because it's a waste. I mean, it's a waste of a play. To drop a pass that's in your hand is a waste of a play. Everybody else executed. One person on the end of that play did not. Mm-hmm. And everybody's work is worthless. It means nothing. So I can see why that upsets him. And then on the other side of that, almost the mirror side of that, one person's mistake doesn't allow you to do what you had planned to do. You've worked, into your down and distance situation. You have chose the play. You've called any audibles. You've read the defense, and you're just about to snap the ball and execute. And all of that gets short circuited by somebody jumping off sides. Both are extremely frustrating. Mm-hmm. One because you've done everything and somebody messed up, and one because you've got everything planned and somebody messed up. I can see how both of those are very frustrating.
Yep.
But
and to avoid those false starts, you have to have everyone in the offense in tune, which means they've got to have some time together to put the offense together and timing and all that. And the Gunslingers have had a big advantage when it comes to that.
Well, and there's a timing issue in arena football that I know we've mentioned and we brought up before on the offensive side of the ball, that you do not have an 11-man football, and that is the wide receiver in motion toward the line.
Yep.
Because they cannot cross the line before the ball is snapped. And they are coming on a full run. It's not a jog.
No.
It is not, let me start 2 or 3 steps back and, move toward the line. They're usually starting 10 to 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they're at a full run by the time the ball is snapped.
Yep.
And if the timing is off on any of that, you're going to get called.
Yep.
So you'll be getting called for penalties for the first time. You'll be dealing with a crowd for the first time. You'll be dealing with play clocks and game clocks and all of those things for the first time. And that's not going to be easy on either team. I'm not saying we're not going to be
San
perfect. Antonio will have it all together and North Texas won't. No, it'll be a problem for both teams. But there's something about doing that in front of your home fans. Mm-hmm. There's something about getting called for a false start in front of your own fans as opposed to on the road. Especially if the fans on the road were the ones that helped you achieve that false start.
Oh, yeah.
If the fans realize they're getting in your head and they're causing you to commit penalties,
watch out.
You're in trouble.
Watch out.
You're in serious trouble.
Well, the other thing to consider is, I know people are thinking, well, I don't know about that date, March 13th. That should be the second weekend of the kids' spring break. So that may be something you guys can start planning as a parent, as a family. The tickets are reasonable. We said they're even
incredibly reasonable. Yeah.
So definitely start thinking about what are we going to do with spring break for the kids. The kids are tired of being at home. This would be a great opportunity to get these kids out. It's at 7:30. You can come early for the tailgating. I'm sure we're going to have lots of activities.
Gates open at noon for tailgating.
For sure. And I think this would be a great activity for a family and friends and everyone to get together. And then in the evening, you get to watch a game.
Yeah.
So that's a win-win. It really is.
Yeah, it's a great activity for you to just kind of cap off spring break.
Yes.
And have a good time with the family, bring them out, enjoy. And it's a great way to try it out. If you're like, you know what, I don't want to sink. Like, we know of some folks that were like, I'm not sinking a bunch of money into this venture until I know what it is.
Right.
Well, here's your chance. Like,
Right.
This is your opportunity to find out what it is. And they kind of tailor-made set it up for you. It is spring break. It is a Saturday. It is a Saturday night. All of those things should work to
Your favorite.
the majority of people's availability. Not everybody's.
No.
There's always going to be somebody, well, I work on Saturday nights. I'm sorry. You know, they couldn't poll everybody that wanted to go to the game and be like, let's find the perfect time for you.
Well, but that's what the live broadcast is for. So
Absolutely.
you can still watch it.
And it'll be cataloged. It'll still be there on... we're planning to be Facebook Live, so it will still be on their Facebook feed, the Gunslingers, and it will be on YouTube, which is where I would go to watch it if I were going to watch it after the fact. But you'll be able to go back and watch. Yep. And that's another great thing about coming live. You can come watch it live, and then you can go home. And if you were not paying really close attention,
drink a little too much beer,
you can watch it again and be guided by the professional voices of Philip Higginbotham and Leo Yamas.
Not just the voices.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll go ahead and apologize for that up front.
No.
We tried to
great.
not have it so that there would be any cameras.
Yeah.
We talked about camera angles. It was supposed to go away.
They were like, we
from
need a
the
camera in the
broadcaster.
booth so that we can see you guys. And I'm like, that's not necessary.
Yeah, no, but unfortunately they deemed it was. So you get to see and hear the voices, see the faces.
So as North Texas, now here's the other side of that, because I think you brought it up well as we started this segment. Because they have the edge doesn't mean that it's easy.
No.
In fact, it puts more pressure
Pressure's on.
Because I got to be honest with you, and I know we have players that listen, and I know the coach listens, and I know ownership listens to the show. You guys lose this game or don't look good.
Ouch.
It begins to scare Gunslingers fans, because by then we're in the throes of the season. We're all about, we got to win this thing.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say this: if the Gunslingers lose the first game, the game at home, knowing what I know of Coach Hernandez, knowing what I know of the rest of the coaching staff, knowing what I know of ownership, not everyone's going to be there for game 2.
Yeah, there'll probably be some changes. I was just thinking, if they were to go out somehow, I mean, there's already been a bar set by ownership. Jason Torres sat here 2 shows ago and said the team was not going to go 5-5 or 7-3. He said 9-0.
That's right.
That's what he said.
If you mess with that in the first game out, if you mess that up on the first game out, I'm not talking to Jason the whole week. Like, I'm not chatting with him. I'm not calling him. I'm not talking to Jason for the whole week. I don't want to, that man would scare me at that point. If you blow 9-0 in the very first game against a team on the road who just came together when you've been together for 6 months.
Yeah, no.
Like, the pressure's on.
And we're not even the guys that would be responsible for it. So imagine the guys who are responsible for that showing.
Right.
Yeah, I would not want to be in their shoes. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm going to put this out there to the public ear right now.
Okay.
Because it was something that was an idea that I came up with, and I mentioned it, and it was offline.
I love this idea.
And, Jason has his Gunslingers hoodie.
Yeah, his custom Gunslingers hoodie that he won't seem to open up and make available for anybody else. Like, he used one of those last week.
Right.
We all could have.
So he was talking about customizing it on the back, like putting something, and I was like, hey, I've got an idea for your customization. Since you've already put it out there, 9-0, an undefeated season, why not put that on your hoodie and wear that throughout the season? You got it right on your back because you said it, 9-0. And you know what? He loved the idea.
That's great.
He said he loved it. So let's see if he actually.
That's like those guys that get their NBA team tattooed with NBA champion the year before, at the beginning of the preseason.
Daring.
There was a guy back in 2011 that was a Maverick fan who got that tattoo. 2011 NBA champions, and they actually won it, but it was inexplicable that they won that championship. And I was just like, man, that guy is a bigger fan than me. I don't like admitting when people are bigger fans of my teams than I am, but I'm like, that guy, he's a bigger fan than me. He just is. Yeah, I think you should. 9-0.
9-0. I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, if they go out and they spit the bit and things don't look good in this first game and they lose.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it doesn't look good and they win, you've preserved that possibility of 9-0. But if you go out in the very first game, at that point, it doesn't matter if you go 8-1 and that's the only game you lost. It's not going to be a good feeling.
We have to win.
And for the record, I can't imagine going undefeated your very first season of anything.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
I'm not on board with Jason's prediction. He knows better than I do. I love his heart. I love the fact that he's willing to jump out and say that, but I expect a loss here or there.
Right, but not in the first game. You got to be 1-0. You got to be 1-0 to start the season. You got to. I will say this though, talking about, going 9-0 undefeated. One thing that you said earlier that I'll go out on a limb and I'll predict. You said the first game's not going to be the high scoring game for either team, very likely. So. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that no one in the Texas division will have their high scoring game against the San Antonio Gunslingers.
Oh, no. I like that.
No. For sure.
That's not happening.
The defense unless we're just totally off of it, and we're not, because we know football and we've watched and dealt with a lot of football on all kinds of levels. The defense they're putting together, especially right through the center of the defense, is scary. Yeah. And that's not fan talk. That is football talk. Like the way these guys fly to the ball and the power that they have to shut down. Like, there's not going to be a lot of receivers crossing the middle of the field more than once.
No. They're going to learn their lesson.
It's just not going to happen. And again, that's not fan talk. That is I know what good linebacking cores look like. I know what good middle linebacking cores look like, and we have some of the best that I can imagine there being on this level.
Oh gosh, if you love hard hitting football, come out to these games. Just come to the game, because you are going to have a blast.
We have guys at that position of the field that I would not be surprised if this is their only year as a gunslinger.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they move into other opportunities, bigger opportunities.
Right.
I can definitely see that happening.
And that's not a knock on anybody else on the field. I think we have other guys that also have that capability or possibility. But when you look at Cody and Pierre, they have the possibility to move if they want to beyond this level. I think. And
JB,
and JB Butler as well. I would not be surprised to see that happen, and that's huge for your defense. Like that's huge to take away the whole center part of the field and make people try to work the edges, especially when the edges are not so far from those middle linebackers still. Like, they can still cause havoc across the field, because the field is only half the width of an 11-man football field. So you're never out of a play just because you're on the other side of the field from it. You can still make a play on a ball or on a runner.
Yep.
So, I'm excited about North Texas coming in. I'm excited to see football start. We got to look at the uniforms the other day. We got pictures we can't share. We're not allowed.
Nope.
We were expressly forbidden.
The official newly.
But we did. We saw the official uniforms, and it goosed me up a little bit. I'm like, this is a real thing.
Very exciting.
This is a real thing.
They're cool looking, man.
They
really
look great. It's coming together, and it's got to come together because it's 17 days away at this point. A little over 2 weeks. We'll all be at the Rose Palace, and we'll be enjoying some football, some tailgating first.
Tailgating for sure.
And some football, football for sure too.
Yeah, first the tailgating.
But then the football.
Then the football.
But then the football.
Yes, then the football. Yes. Then the football.
Did you see the message we just got a little while ago?
I didn't. What did he say?
What did he say? And who said it?
It came from Hector. You know, he does a lot of the graphic design for the team. And I don't think this is anything that we could share visually, but doesn't say anything about bringing it up on here. But he has put together a mock-up of what they're doing with the field and actually kind of Photoshop that into the venue itself to see what the playing field is going to look like once everything's set up, and it looks pretty great.
Yeah,
I'm
you
excited
see the
about
dasher boards there. You can see
Yeah,
obviously
he's got the dasher boards made up already.
the Gunslingers logo
it.
And the AAL logo and some of the, become a fan, be a part of the team, all of that kind of stuff. And then I see a dasher board there that I want to talk about when we get back, because they have a sponsor that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And I want to talk some more about when we get back in a second.
There's 2 dasher boards we need to talk about.
Ooh.
Yes, there is. You're right. You're not wrong. So stick with us. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Smokin Gunz Podcast. Well, as the season grows closer and closer and closer, like it's here. Mm-hmm. Like for all intents and purposes, it's here. 2 weeks from now, a little more, we're going to be all together in the parking lot, and then we're all going to make our way inside for the game. And if you want to keep on top of all of the best of Gunslingers news,
that's right,
and information, you listen to our show and you follow our page. If you want to go even deeper, you need to be a patron of the Smokin Gunz Podcast. Mm-hmm. We share the information there first. They are the first people to hear it, first people to know about it. How do you get signed up for that? All you got to do is jump online. Go to patreon.com/smokin, no G, guns with a Z.
That's right.
POD, all one word, Smokin Gunz Pod, and sign up to be a patron. You can sign up at the $5 level, the $10 level, or the $20 level. It helps us make the show go. It helps us keep all of this together and keep the power flowing.
Unlike CPS.
Yeah.
Too soon?
Not too soon.
We're not CPS.
We're not
CPS.
No. But we're gonna have to pay those rates because they're fixing to go up. So we gotta be able to pay those.
Like Herman was supposed to come on today because of work he wasn't. But that's some of the advantages of being a patron.
We did. We talked earlier in the show about how we had a plan to bring David and Nate in. When that fell apart,
right?
We reached out to Herman and said, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" And he was going to come, then work got in the way. But that's where we're going to go first.
Exactly.
We're going to go to those people that are helping us make the show go to be a part of the show.
So that could be you.
We would love to have your help. We would love for you to be on the team. We've got great patrons already, and we would love to add you. And just as our way to say thank you, we get you the news and information we're allowed to share. We get it to you first.
True.
You get all of that information before it hits anybody's Facebook page or before it hits their email inbox.
Facebook?
I just said that.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
So go join us. Patreon.com/SmokinGunzPod, Smokin no G, Guns with a Z, POD, and sign up to be a patron if you're able. Smokin Gunz Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, Leo Yamas, RC Woods, sitting around the table talking about Gunslingers football and chatting a little bit about other football topics, and we'll get into that because it seems like we always do.
Yep.
And that's what we do. We talk football. It's mostly Gunslingers football, but there's other things that people like to talk about.
Yeah.
And we like to talk about them too. It's our show. We can do it.
We can do what we want.
That's right.
Before we went away, we were talking about the graphic that we got sent by the team, how the field's going to look there in the Rose Palace. Pretty cool looking.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Open air on the end that you can see in this picture. So sunlight coming in. Obviously, we won't see that until late spring, 7:30 games. It won't be light outside.
True. It's going to be evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, a neat look, a neat feel to it. And in the midst of that, we can see some of the dasher boards, and most of them are Gunslinger Central dasher boards there in the end zone. But there's one that we can see.
Even in the markup.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Our buddies, and you heard about them a few minutes ago in our first break. Chris over at Teardrop Pepper Company.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I just had some yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
They are not just a sponsor of the Smokin Gunz Podcast anymore. They are a sponsor of the Gunslingers, the football team. Yeah, you can make some noise.
Thank you. Okay.
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I snuck in too.
That's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
It started out with our connection with them. I don't know if everybody knows. RC that's family, right?
My cousins.
So that's how we got connected with them.
Exactly.
Is through RC, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll help you out with your show a little bit."
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And then the team reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got a special deal.
Yeah.
For your sponsors, we want to offer them a chance to be sponsors of the team." And I, did what I'm supposed to do. I will send it out to them and give them that opportunity. Going, they're not going to do this.
I didn't think so either.
I really didn't know if anybody was going to jump on that. And immediately, like the night I sent it out, immediately Chris gets back to me and says,
I didn't realize it was that quick.
"Oh yeah."
Oh, okay.
He immediately got back to me and said, "We would love to do that."
Oh, that's awesome.
Keep supporting Teardrop Pepper Company.
For sure.
Like you heard earlier, go to teardroppepperco.com, place your order, offer code ARENA, the whole thing. They've been with us since the beginning, and now they're part of the Gunslinger family too, and that's really cool.
And I love it that their code is ARENA, and their logo is going to be in the arena.
In the arena.
In the arena.
Whoa, right?
In the
Almost like somebody playing that.
corral.
In the
Corral.
I think we're going to have to go with that.
saloon. Corral.
Saloon.
The corral.
I mean, when you think about
It looks
this,
like a corral.
it does.
It
when
is
you,
a corral.
When you think about this first game against North Texas, and you just, as a child, I would always step back and look at football or hockey or even baseball, although those are not as cool, and look at the mascot names and be like, which one would win, a cowboy or a redskin? Although they're not the Redskins anymore, the football team.
Yeah.
And like, try to make that make sense. Well, let's do what 8-year-old Philip would do. A gunslinger or a bull?
The gunslinger has his gun, then the gunslinger.
Right. Well, you don't
If he doesn't have his gun,
if you
then-
don't have your gun, you're
you're
not
not.
a gunslinger.
You're just a slinger?
You're just a slinger.
Well, I don't like that at
You're a
all.
runner.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
You're out of
So,
luck.
and really, we could go around the league with some of that. I mean, the Raiders out of Hattiesburg, which you're a big fan of. I know you love the
Hate that
Raiders.
name.
And then there's the
Buccaneers.
another
The Buccaneers
NFL
have
retread.
swords. I guess they have muskets, but you gotta get the thing to
The
load the
thing.
musket. And,
Yeah, well, they use those black powder pistols
Black
a
powder,
lot,
there you
don't
go.
they?
That sounds a little childish.
It's been
to
a
me,
while
the
since I've seen
Buccaneers.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
You
so.
could survive
That's
getting
true.
shot with one of those, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to, but you can. If I'm going into a fight with the black powder pistol or the Colt 45 6-shooter,
I'm taking the
I'm
Colt.
taking the gunslinger.
Choose your weapon.
Yeah,
Wisely.
exactly. You got the Texas Power. Is that what that team is up in Dallas that we're gonna play?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't
The
remember.
Power?
I think it's
I think
Like
I
a
think you might
Power
be
Ranger?
right.
I wouldn't say that. Takeover. I'm sorry,
The
Texas
Texas
Takeover.
Takeover.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that is.
What is
So,
that? What kind of mascot do you get
They're
for a
taking
takeover?
over
They're
the L for
Yeah,
this
they're
game.
gonna. I guess.
The takeover.
I guess that's the Texas Takeover, and then the one I've left out at this point would be
The Austin
the Wild.
Wild.
Yeah,
Those are hogs that get shot.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So when it comes down to just the
The name
the
itself.
name,
We're
The
killing
Buccaneers are the only ones that have a shot.
it. Ha
yeah. I mean, really, yeah.
Yeah.
ha. No pun intended.
Oh, yeah. No pun intended.
The somebody was asking on one of the Facebook groups that I'm part of, the NFL in San Antonio Facebook group.
Oh.
Okay,
Was
yeah.
it Warren?
What would
Oh.
what would our NFL team's name be?
For San Antonio?
Yeah, if we were to have one, it's just one of those conversation starters where there's not even really a shot right now of the NFL coming to San Antonio. But if we got a team, what would we call them? And they threw out some ideas. I want to say Coyotes was on there. Or
No,
something
I
else.
don't like that.
No.
And I was like, I've always felt like Defenders was good.
Defenders, yeah.
Because you've got the Alamo and the military connection on both of those.
How about the boots?
I thought the Commanders were going to be the Defenders at first.
Yeah, I really thought that we were going to be the Defenders too when the Commanders got here. But the Defenders, to me, it just makes a lot of sense for San Antonio.
Air Force and stuff.
And then my second was always the Gunslingers. Like, I always wanted somebody to bring back the Gunslingers. So I didn't even comment on the post because I was like, well, Washington, D.C. had the Defenders in the XFL, so they're not going to do that. And the San Antonio Gunslingers are here, so there's no reason to do that. So I didn't even join the conversation on Facebook.
Is that the first time that's ever happened?
Wow. That's a big shocker.
I get in conversations. I will talk some stuff on Facebook.
Philip didn't want to talk?
If you get Philip to where he has nothing to say.
I didn't. The only other one that I think that I've really liked in the past, and I'm not sure how I feel about it now, would be San Antonio Scorpions.
Scorpions cool.
No.
They had the soccer team.
But we did. We had the soccer team at one point.
And the old school football team, I thought was kind of a cool name, but it's more of an ethnic thing. The Toros.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if others with
Back to
up
Bulls.
north
Back
they'd
to Bulls.
understand that. Yeah, but the San Antonio Toros. Is kind of cool.
Well, and again, they were asking about an NFL team, but I was like, you can't go Vaqueros at that point because you already have Vaqueros in the NFL.
Yeah, in Dallas.
Yeah. Cowboys are Vaqueros. So you can't go with that. Like that wouldn't work.
Nobody caros.
Caros. It's true. It's true. So, yeah, we've got the best nickname. We've got the best team. We've got the best coach. We've got the best podcast. I don't really know why any of these people are even showing up.
So our fans can have something to cheer about.
We need a game so we can tailgate? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, it's a race for second place, really. I mean,
okay, you're sounding a lot like Jason.
Yeah, 9-0.
You have to put 9-0 on the back of your shirt.
Maybe. No. We'll see what happens.
I feel like we need to challenge someone, like maybe Jason, like if they do lose, then he has to shave off his head or something.
Shave off his head?
No, I mean, shave off his hair. You know what I mean?
You know,
I don't want to scalp him.
It's sounding terrible for a
this
second.
would be so great. Like, I mean, for us to, we're stating facts. We're not talking smack. We're just stating facts because we know what we know. If there was other podcast out there that could, dispute what we're saying, that'd be great.
Come on.
But,
there isn't.
I guess not.
Nobody's stepping up to the plate. Or they're too afraid.
They're afraid of the guns.
They are.
The Smokin Gunz. They're afraid of the Smokin Gunz.
We already had some things in place. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair on some level.
What do you mean?
We were ready. They weren't ready.
Maybe we can talk to Tyrone. He was talking about doing something with the Falcons.
He was, and I know Alan at one point back when they were gonna try to join the league was looking at having a podcast. But they'll get there. We're ahead.
Speaking of podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good segue. Not segue, but to actually reel us back in because we were talking about dasher boards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we were talking
about.
Right.
We talked about Teardrop Pepper Company's dasher board, and you said that there was another dasher board that you're pretty excited about.
Dasher board, yeah.
What's that?
The Smokin Gunz Podcast dasher board.
Woo!
Look at that.
I don't think it'll have our faces on it, though.
No, it's just got our logo. It's not our faces, which is good.
That's a good thing.
I think so.
It's fair for the fans because 2/3 of this whole crew is just not worth looking at. Let's be fair. RC, you're okay.
All right, thanks.
But the rest of us,
thanks a lot, Philip.
Just not worth it. So they decided to leave us off and just use that logo,
which is
pretty nice.
That's fine.
Like the logo is pretty sweet.
We have a cool logo, don't we?
We do.
Don't we?
Yes, we do.
We absolutely do. Took hours and hours of conversation.
You forgive me now?
Hours and hours of conversation, but we do have a cool logo. And you're going to see that at the Rose Palace because we have a dasher board there as well. We're excited about that.
I've never had a dasher board.
Me neither.
I'm so excited.
A lot of people could say that.
Yeah, that's exciting. I want to take a picture, all three of us.
We got a dasher board. We will have to take a picture for that dasher board.
Yeah,
you know what? We will have to take a picture of of ourselves in the dashboard with our patrons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
For sure. We love our patrons, all of them, and we want more of you.
Yes, we do.
Because we want to love more people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's up.
All right.
So, just 17 days away. Exciting stuff. But it's not the only conversation there is around football.
There's other stuff.
There's other stuff. Just this week in the ice and the snow here in North Texas, or here in Texas, here in all over Texas. We saw an NFL deal that I thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. That Carson Wentz will be going to the Colts. I almost reached out to Mo and Iris because they're big Colts fans to see what they thought.
Iris is a Titans fan.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
That's good. I like the Titans, actually.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Mike Vrabel.
They used to be Houston.
They did. I don't like bringing that up. That's not as fun. I would love for the Oilers to be the Oilers again. Like, even if the Texans became the Oilers, I would be okay with that. Like, that was too good a name. Way better.
I do like
the
the Oilers. That's a good name.
In any case, the Colts, Carson Wentz, what'd you think of all that?
I think it's a good fit. I mean, they needed a quarterback.
They did,
after
with Phillip Rivers retiring.
Yeah.
They had to have a quarterback, and Carson Wentz is a quarterback. Is he a good quarterback? I don't know if we know that right now.
We don't. It depends, yeah.
But what was great about the deal is it's very conditional. If he plays a certain amount of time, if they make the playoffs, then these picks get better that they're trading. It's a lot of conditional kind of picks, and that's great.
That's a smart way to make a package.
It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it got me thinking immediately about the one that we're all waiting to drop, and that is what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. Well,
what?
Deshaun Watson.
There you go.
And you brought up just a second ago, and I wanted to bring up to you before you brought it up to me. It's hard
not for me to bring it up.
The Vegas odd makers say that the leading team that will have a possibility of bringing Deshaun Watson in is...
Before you say that, understand that Vegas odds makers make their money by making odds that are pretty accurate. Or they lose their butts.
Sometimes they get it wrong. But
they get it wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of analytics that go into this.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
For sure.
And I'm not saying I understand it or I agree with it, but right now, the leading team, according to Vegas, to have Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback, even higher than the Houston Texans themselves.
Which I'm on record saying I think he winds up staying in Houston.
I agree with you, I think, at this point. But... the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and that's your team.
That's my team.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have this conversation with you because we've talked now for 3 shows about Deshaun Watson.
That's right.
And now it has circled around where it actually affects one of our teams. And you're a football guy. You understand the implications of all this. If the package is to get Deshaun Watson, you have to trade away a first and second this year and a first and second next year, which I think is reasonable based on the package that we saw Stafford go for.
That's true.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if you have to take 2 years of drafts, of top 2 draft picks, and possibly more, to possibly some extra picks on top of that, how excited are you to gut your draft for 2 or 3 years in order to land a guy like Deshaun Watson, who is a good player,
He's a top 5 quarterback. He's more than a good player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's I don't think it's a dispute that he's a top 5 QB
for sure.
Right.
How do you, as a fan of that team and as a fan of the team that's leading the odds right now to end up landing him, that's the kind of package I think you're going to have to give up. How does that make you as a fan feel about that possibility?
To get a top 5 QB, I would get behind it.
Really?
Yes, because drafts aren't a sure thing. I mean,
that's true.
How many busts have you had at quarterback in the first and second round compared to hitting that home run and getting that top 5, top 3 guy?
Especially the Broncos.
Yeah, lately, yeah, especially you could say. I'm not ready to call Drew Lock a bust yet, by the way.
But
which is the only reason why I'm like,
but Paxton Lynch
hesitant. But yeah, Paxton.
I mean,
Lynch.
I could go down a list.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I get
Elway has not been great at picking quarterbacks.
Yeah, so if they have to give up a couple of first rounders and a couple of second rounders, I'd be more happy if it was only one second rounder. But I think you're right; it's going to be more than that. Obviously, they could throw Drew Lock in that package and maybe keep a second rounder. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it. But I think it's worth it in the sense that you keep swinging for the fences and missing. And that's a really important piece to getting the team back to prominence where they're in the conversation.
No, it's not a really important piece.
It is
the most important piece of your team.
The piece, and you can waste first and second rounders, and then I mean, the other thing that kind of makes this make sense is you can hit home runs in third, fourth, fifth, sixth rounds.
That's true.
You can.
And get
you
guys
really
certainly can.
To put around that guy. So the caveat that I would say is if it's draft picks, I can get behind it. Maybe a player or two, depending on who that player is. But the Broncos, say what you want to say about John Elway and what his performance has been picking quarterbacks. Some of the other young talent on the team right now, like especially on offense with the wide receivers they have, the tight ends they have, I definitely would not give up any of those guys because we want those weapons for whoever it is under center, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Drew Lock or anybody else.
Yeah,
we want those weapons there.
There was a lot of talk for a while about the number one landing spot for Deshaun Watson being the Jets. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Because the Jets need to build. They need every building block they have. They have nothing to work with right now. So putting Deshaun Watson on a team with nothing doesn't add up to anything. It's the most important part of your team. But if you don't put things around it, it's worthless.
And that's why I say it's worth it for Denver, because if they put Deshaun Watson in that offense, they're automatically a contender. In my opinion. I know I'm looking through my orange-colored, shades of glasses.
As we all do.
But they have legitimate talent. On young talent on that offense. They obviously have talent on the defense. Mm-hmm. The defense is going to be good. It's going to continue to be good, I think. That's really the piece. And more incentive is you're in the same division that has the Chiefs with Mahomes.
That's rough.
And now the Chargers with what's his name, who had an unbelievable rookie, unbelievable rookie season. So there's more pressure to compete with those guys, and you need that guy under center. You need that.
And I mean the Raiders with David
Carr. Yeah.
Not even David Carr. I think it's a David Carr. It's not even David Carr.
Right? No, it's not. It's
his brother. Derek
Carr. Yeah.
No. The Raiders are good. If Deshaun Watson goes to the Broncos, which by the way I still think is a long shot. I do too. But if he winds up going to the Broncos, and you do have Justin Herbert, you have Patrick Mahomes, and you have Deshaun Watson,
and
the Raiders are sitting there going, like David. Like I keep saying, Derek Carr's okay.
Yeah.
But he's not on the same level as those other, and he's the oldest.
Yeah.
He's the oldest, and he's not as good.
And he's not anywhere near as good.
Those three guys.
The Raiders will be like, look at our stadium. We have the nice stadium.
We have this great stadium, and we play in Vegas. Yeah.
But that would be something. So there is some incentive, there's some motivation there to make that happen. I don't know that it will. If it does, though, I would be behind it, even at the expense of 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders, although I'm hoping it's not.
Now, the last time these two teams were in a conversation together over a quarterback switching back and forth between these teams, it did not go well for either with Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, no. I think it went better for Denver because...
It did.
Yeah,
no, it certainly did.
Because Houston got that contract. I mean,
they did. They got that contract. And
Denver offered him a contract. It was just not anywhere near what Houston did.
I'm aware. And he was upset that Peyton Manning got put in the playoffs. And he didn't want to play in.
It's Peyton freaking Manning.
I know.
Come on, get over it, dude.
But he thought he was something special, and he thought, I got us to the playoffs, so I should be in the playoffs, and that's not necessarily how things work.
He ruined his career.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole career could have changed, could have been different. Mm-hmm. He might still be the quarterback in Denver right now.
Maybe, yeah.
If things had gone a little different. One more noteworthy, I think it's a noteworthy Texas football thing that we need to discuss is the departure, speaking of Houston, of one J.J. Watt, who moves on from Houston, enters into free agency. Where does he end up?
With the San Antonio Gunslingers.
I'm sorry.
We've brought this up. We've made it very clear that we
reached out to ownership. We said we had a meeting. We thought it was a great idea. And we let them know. We did, we look after you fans. We said, bring J.J. Watt. He's available.
Keep him in Texas.
They said they'd have to cut everyone on the
roster. They did. They said that we couldn't have any other players if we got
one-man team. A one-man team.
Yeah.
But he could do it. Like, he's J.J. Watt. Like, he could do that. He could play as a one-man
if they did that,
team.
The games would be sold out.
The Gunslinger. He would just be the Gunslinger. It's true. The San Antonio Gunslinger.
And still everyone would be there.
No, but J.J. Watt is going to wind up somewhere, probably in the NFL and not the American Arena League.
Maybe with his brother.
That is my odds-on favorite is for him to wind up in Pittsburgh with TJ and
his two brothers. He has two brothers.
Oh, two brothers. Yeah,
both brothers. Both other brothers are there in Pittsburgh, so that just makes a lot of sense.
I mean, come on,
easier for the parents.
There have been some people you'll be excited about this.
The Bears.
There are some people saying the Bears because his wife plays in Chicago, which she plays professional soccer. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's a professional soccer player in Chicago.
The Chicago Fire.
And so there are some people saying that makes sense for him to go where his wife plays so that they will both be in the same hometown. So you would be excited.
I would be very excited.
And I got to tell you, Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt together on a defense becomes very, very scary.
Yeah, they still need a quarterback, though.
Yeah.
It's more scary 4 years ago than it is now.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's still very scary. But you're right. They still do have to have a quarterback.
They still need a quarterback.
Maybe Deshaun Watson. Who knows?
Hey, that would be funny.
They would have to trade away everything else. Like they'd have Khalil Mack and then J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. And
that's it.
That's it. Their whole team.
Open tryouts.
Yeah. Like that, what is it? Unnecessary roughness or the replacements.
The replacements,
all of a sudden. So that's some of the things going on in football, specifically around Texas. All those are kind of Texas-based stories.
Related.
Yeah.
Certainly with Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt. But back to the Gunslingers and the J.J. Watt-less Gunslingers. We've been told that that's probably not a possibility.
Yeah. Well, they did say that they reached out to his agent, but I think they were kidding. I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know.
They should. You make the ask. What can they do? Yeah. Say no? I mean,
what's the worst you're gonna get? I know you're what you know.
Yeah, I mean that was always my philosophy in high school. I'm gonna ask the girl out. Worst she can do is say no. Turns out that's not the worst she can do. She can tell all your friends and they can laugh at you as you walk down home.
Oh no!
But the worst they can do is say no. I think we should reach out to JJ. JJ, I know you're listening.
That's true.
Reach out to the Gunslingers. And let's put this deal together. In fact, you can
team.
You can play here in the off season this year,
right?
Getting ready for the season. This will be your way to prepare for the season, just to make sure you're in tip-top shape.
Right.
Nobody's saying you can't play in the NFL. We're just saying play here first. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Who wouldn't want to? Yeah, who wouldn't want to do that? So. What else? There was an interesting conversation that got started. You started an interesting conversation, RC, about football.
I did.
This weekend on our page. If you don't follow the Gunslingers, the Smokin Gunz Podcast. If you don't follow the Gunslingers, you need to do that too.
Yeah.
But if you don't follow the Smokin Gunz Podcast, I'm really interested in how you are listening to the show. So let me know. But you started a conversation about favorite football movies.
That's right, I did.
But you didn't tell us what yours was, did you?
I did.
I think
I put the picture.
She put the picture, but she did it as Smokin Gunz Podcast, not as herself.
What was it?
I can't remember now.
You can't remember.
Oh, I can see the picture. It's with Denzel Washington. He's my favorite.
Remember the Titans?
There you
Can't
go.
Remember the Titans.
Titans. See, there you go.
The word is in the title.
There you go.
So I feel like I've already short-circuited this conversation, but what is
caught me off guard.
What is it about that movie?
It's just for me, it's just a classic. You know, it goes back to how he was being a coach and he's so motivational. And then you see the relationship between the players. I think that really, really touched me.
It's Denzel.
It's Denzel, really. I love Denzel.
It's an incredible movie, but I do love the way
the music,
he deals.
the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. I do love the way he deals with his running back who fumbles the ball in practice one day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is my favorite part, I think, of that movie. That and Can't You See He's My Brother, which is a great line.
That's a great scene and great movie.
What's your favorite?
We'll get to that. I want to turn to Leo now. Leo, what's your favorite football movie?
Like,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Absolutely. There's just so many. All right. So I'd have to go. Remember the Titans is a pretty good one.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. I would have to go, though. I'm more like, I kind of like the high school football movies. And I really like Varsity Blues, but I think Friday Night Lights edges it out for me.
Okay.
I think
Tim McGraw.
Yeah. I know, but one of the things about Friday Night Lights that is just so great for me is, I remember when I went to go see it at the theater. I think I watched it by myself. I go to the movies by myself frequently. My wife thinks I'm weird for doing that.
Do that.
Really?
Yeah, because I've always done that. I mean, since I was young, I'll go watch a movie by myself. Kill some time if I got nothing. Dolores got stuff going on. Anyways. I think this is a movie that I happened to go see by myself, and I came out of there like inspired. I thought it was a great movie.
Okay,
but like I talked to people, friends that I know, coworkers that are from not Texas.
I love that you just said people friends.
People friends, yeah.
You talk to your people friends.
I talk to my people friends
as opposed to your fish friends.
I got dog friends, right? Cat friends.
You do.
I don't talk to them as much, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I don't know about fish friends.
Anyways, you're talking to your people friends.
I talked to my people friends that aren't from Texas, and they just thought the movie was outlandish, like terrible, like way out there. They couldn't think of high school football on that sort of scale.
Wow.
Right. I can certainly see people watching that game, that particular movie or Varsity Blues, and saying that's ridiculous. Nobody would put that much on high school football, and you don't know.
And I'm
you have no idea.
You're wrong. It's you could go and watch that movie, and it's almost. I mean, it's not, but I mean, you could fool some people into thinking it's a documentary for high school football or based on, it was based on real events.
Based on Bissinger's book.
Yeah.
About high school football in Texas.
But it's not put to a grander scale. That is football in Texas.
Yeah, no.
And that's what I love about that movie.
Yeah. Well, I know Stephen Canto said North Dallas 40. Is that really the movie?
North Dallas 40.
Okay, I never saw that.
Nick Nolte movie.
Okay, and then Andy Torres said Facing the Giants.
Never seen that.
And then Fred Gonzalez said Little Giants.
I love that movie.
And then
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Okay, and so Roy, what did he put? I just saw a meme, but I don't see what the name of it is.
Let me see the meme. I can't see it.
It's just someone dancing?
Oh, that's The Replacements.
Oh, The Replacements. Okay.
Also a good movie.
And then Aaron Ramon. That's with that comedian. What's his name?
That comedian's name is Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. So what movie is that?
And that movie
The Longest
is
Yard.
The Longest Yard.
The remake.
The
the remake.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Blindside also was another one of my favorites.
Blindside? Yeah.
Interesting story about Blindside. You know who hates that movie more than anything?
No.
Michael Orr.
Mike Orr.
Oh, that's right.
He hates that movie because it makes him look like he doesn't know anything about football when he meets the family.
Right.
And he said that's just not the case. I was a huge football guy when I met my family. And that is, all of that is true about him meeting a family, them taking him in. all of that is accurate, but he says it just makes him look a little bit like an idiot.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that.
Well, Quentin Humphrey, one of our coaches, he agreed with me. Remember the Titans.
Yes.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I know.
You know what movie?
Solid.
I just really like it for Denzel. Sorry.
Sorry. No, that's good. You know what movie isn't on that list, and I'm not really surprised at all?
Okay.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday is an interesting movie, but it's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie, no.
It's like many of Oliver Stone's movies where it's interesting, but it's not really that good. And it
had a chance to be a great movie when it came out, I thought, but yeah, I was just totally disappointed.
It's got some it pops at some moments. There is a halftime, I want to say it's a halftime, it may be a pregame speech by Pacino that is really excellent, but on a whole, it's just not a great movie.
Billy Bob Thornton's speech was better.
Yeah.
What about
My Heart is Full?
The one with Tom Cruise, Show Me the Money?
Oh, Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
not
Jerry
a football
Maguire,
movie.
but that's not a football movie.
That kind of was football.
No.
There was football in there.
No. It is a football movie the same way that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Now we're going to that argument again.
It's not a football movie. It has a football motif in it, just as Die Hard has a Christmas motif in it. But it's not a football movie.
Not the same thing at all.
What's the show that The Rock's in that is about football?
That's a TV show.
I know.
There was a
Ballers.
Yeah, but there was a movie
There's
that
a
he
movie.
did where some kids that are in juvenile detention, and they have a football
Game
team.
plan? The Game Plan?
The Game Plan, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The Rock is in everything now, though.
So I'm shocked that
He's an XFL.
a bunch of guys would ring in, or a bunch of people would ring in on their favorite football movies, and nobody would say Rudy.
Aw.
Rudy is an excellent movie that you cannot watch more than once a year. The pacing is weird and it's very slow.
It's a slow movie.
And you cry at the
There
end.
is a point in the movie that every time I watch it, I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, I know what happens. I know what's going to, and it's slow and it's a little boring at times. I'm going to be really honest with you. And then you get to the end and you're like, that is just great. That is just a great movie. Sean Astin is really underrated for the actor that he is. We're actually watching as a family the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and just Sean Astin is a good actor. He's just good.
I can't watch Rudy anymore without thinking of that character. You know, the whole second breakfast and
Oh yeah, sure. The only thing I don't like about Rudy is I know enough about the guy that it's based on that I don't like it as much. He ended up being a guy that really was a big self-promotion kind of guy, and wasn't one of the best people in the world. So he used his name to make a lot of money. But he was not the guy you think he is in the movie, which is always the case when it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
But my favorite, I swing back and forth. Do what?
Miracle.
No. No, the one where they beat the Cowboys. It's like saying Little Giants. Like, no, they're okay movies, but no. My favorite movie, I got to agree with Roy, with J-Bone. The Replacements is an excellent movie. I also like
It's a good movie.
Unnecessary Roughness with Scott Bakula, Kathy Ireland.
The original, yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very similar to The Replacements. The thing about The Replacements is when I first watched it, I thought it was a goofy kind of football movie, and yeah, that's okay. But after the Commanders fell apart, I happened to catch it on TV one day and watched it all the way through to the end, and it actually moved me to emotions as they walk off the field and they're talking about, nobody will remember these guys. They didn't hold up any trophies.
We knew some of those guys.
And we knew some of the Commanders guys. And so it has a real connection with that time for me. I encourage anybody that was a fan of that particular team through that time to watch it through that lens. And it will have a different level of just emotion for you if you remember that time, and if you were as tied up emotionally as some of us were over the Commanders and the AAF. I need to change leagues.
Cut you twice this episode.
At least twice. What'd you find?
You know what? Another good movie that I liked was The Long Shots.
Long Shots. Which one is that one?
Long Shots. Oh, with Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. That was a good one. Did you ever watch that one?
I know nothing about that movie.
I don't remember that one.
I liked her because she came in the movie with the spelling bee one. She's a good actress. I like her.
Aquila and the Bee?
Uh-huh. And the Bee.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw Long Shots.
So what about you? Go find our post.
Yeah, okay.
RC's post. And tell us what your favorite movie is. And don't just tell us what it is. Tell us why.
Yeah, let us
that'd
know.
be good. We really need more interaction on our Facebook page.
Well,
I'm trying. I really am.
You want to get interaction? Say, Banana Laffy Taffy sucks.
Yeah, there you go.
Instant interaction.
Or Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. You get some reaction out of that. Although not near as much as the Banana Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, that one was,
That was crazy.
So we only had 10 responses, and I was one of them. So that's really 9.
So tell us what your favorite football movie is, and it can't be just a movie that has football shoehorned in. Don't come hit me up with like The Dark Knight Rises is my favorite football movie because it has one football scene. Like that doesn't count.
Or Jerry Maguire.
Or Jerry Maguire.
Apparently.
It's a chick flick. It's a romantic comedy.
And what is wrong with the chick flick in a romance movie?
Did I say
football?
anything was wrong with that?
Okay, well then.
It's just not a football movie.
It's not a football movie.
Okay. Who comes up with the definition of a football movie?
I do.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I thought we were clear on this stuff.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot who's driving the podcast.
There you go. So come tell us what your favorite football movie is, and then get ready because 17 days from when this podcast drops, the San Antonio Gunslingers are going to kick off for real. Like we're not being hyperbolic at this point anymore.
Nope.
They are going to kick off the season. They're in the Rose Palace against the North Texas Bulls, 7:30 p.m. And you're all going to be there. Everybody listen to my voice right now. We'll be there.
You better.
There to watch them kick some bull butt.
That's right. BS.
Yeah.
Right?
BS.
The bull slaughter.
Bull slaughter.
There you go.
See some slaughtering some bulls.
There you go.
Well, that's going to wrap up another one of our shows. It took us a little while.
It did.
Took us an extra week to get to you. I hope you understand why.
We had to shake off the ice.
Yeah, we had to get rid of the... What's crazy about that, though, is Thursday, it snows all day. Like all morning long, it snowed. And then Saturday, 2 days later, I had to wear shorts. Because it was too hot for jeans.
Dolores was like, this is crazy.
It's insane. You would never... anyway, we're getting off topic. We are back.
Always.
The show is back, and we are going to wrap it up there. But we need to remind you that the Smokin Gunz Podcast is brought to you by
Texas Sports LMT. That's for licensed massage therapist. Specializes in sports massage, sports stretch, Swedish, and deep tissue massage. Texas Sports LMT has been in business 8 years and was nominated Best of San Antonio 3 years in a row. Can you believe that?
I can.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
She's awesome. She really is. She's worked alongside the San Antonio Commanders, making sure they were game day ready at all times. She has also worked and provided sports stretch to numerous players from the NFL and the NFL Combine. Now, right now, I know is a very stressful time. If you need a massage, this would be the time to get it right now.
Sure.
I mean, you had a really rough week. We all did. So sports stretch is structured to be performed on the athletes of any size or stature. It is safe for just about anyone who is looking to gain flexibility in order to perform better on the field, in the gym, and in everyday activities. Give Laura, the Texas Sports LMT, a call to set up an appointment today at 210-459-0176. Again, that's 210-459-0176. It's not how you train, it's how you recover.
Yeah, it is. Smokin Gunz Podcast is also brought to you by our amazing, our incredible patrons, our supporters. We've got
they're
Mo.
The best.
They are. They're the best.
Yep.
Absolutely. The incredible Mo and Iris Ferrante.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ferrante.
There you go. I did. Y'all always have to correct me, even when I say it right.
That's right.
Apparently. We also have the amazing Herman Robles Jr., who we missed today. We would have loved to have had him on the show.
That would have been so cool. Next time.
We will get him here at some point. We've got the awesome Alba Nava, who helps us out. And then, of course, the boss, the jefe, the head honcho, the guy that we need.
Mr. 9-0.
Mr. 9-0. Jason Torres, the COO of the San Antonio Guns. The 9-0 COO of the San Antonio Gunslingers, Jason Torres, also a patron. And you can be on that list too. Just go to patreon.com/SmokinGunzPod and sign up to be a patron and help us make this show go. Well, that's it. That brings us to the end of another show.
Aww.
And I've got great news for the folks out there. Normally, you have to wait at least 2 weeks, and sometimes, hey, you have to wait 3 weeks.
That's right.
Before you get a show.
Conditions.
But we're into the season now.
Woo!
We're so close to the season that that's not the case anymore. We will be back next week.
Yay!
I'm so excited. No, I am excited. We're going to be back next week. We're going to start weekly shows from this point forward to take us through the season. It may not always be on Wednesdays, just based on the way our team schedule falls. We may have to record on different days because there are games on some Monday nights, and so we may have to record our show on different nights or the same night. We haven't decided yet. We're working on coming up with a plan.
Work in progress.
But we are going to move to weekly shows. We said March would be when we start weekly shows. Well,
isn't that crazy? It's already getting to March.
Already March.
Oh my gosh, the time went by so fast.
So when we gather together, it won't be 2 weeks from now, but it will still be so close. Like we will be only a weekend will stand between us and the Gunslingers kickoff.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's coming up so fast.
I'm nervous.
I am too.
I'm excited.
I'll be really honest.
I'm excited,
too.
but I'm nervous. Yeah.
Part of me was like, why did we agree to do the live stream part? Why couldn't we just be fans? But it'll be great. It'll be exciting. So when it comes to pro football in San Antonio, we've got the food.
We do.
Yep. We've got the fans.
Yes, of course.
We've got the football.
Yes.
We got the head coach. We got the ownership group.
Cheerleaders.
We've got the cheerleaders.
Uh-huh.
We've got the best mascot. We already talked about that on the show a little bit. We've got it all here.
We got the corral.
We do. I tell you, when it comes to pro football, in the American Arena League, I said it right this time.
Yes, you did.
I'll tell you something. The 210, it's got something to say.
Bang, bang.